Ho, ho, ho. Getting ready to go live at 5 here, and we're already live up on Facebook. And now just waiting for our Instagram hookup to connect. And there it is. We're live everywhere. And tonight, guys, it turns out it's just Dee and me. Sadly, my guest who was going to be joining us tonight had to cancel, but I didn't want to cancel celebrating Christmas in July. So Dee is going to have me, and me is going to try and give thee a really good time tonight. We're going to be talking about, well, kind of what we planned originally, Christmas movies, but also Christmas novels and some trivia. So hopefully you're ready for that. And this one will just let you kind of shout it out and see who knows what. Hi, I see some of our regulars have arrived. Hey, Cindy, thank you for coming. Debbie's made it from Zephyr Hills. Hi, Susie. Hi, guys. Again, apologies that it is just me tonight. Sometimes that happens. The best laid plans of mice, men, and Sheila often go awry. So it's moi and all of you, and we're going to party no matter what. Continue to celebrate Christmas in July, and I am drinking something really yum. Can you see this? This is a blended drink. My little eggnog frappuccino, eggnog mocha frappuccino. That is so good. And you might be going, well, where did you get eggnog in July? Well, I'll tell you what, I made it, you guys. There are all kinds of recipes for eggnog online, and it's not very hard to make. I think it can get a little pricey because not much makes much. So you're using, let's see, what was in this eggnog? It was, I just made just a half a batch, just enough so I could make my fancy drink to show you. But that used, what did I use? It was a half a cup of whipping cream and a cup of milk and 3 egg yolks. It's the egg yolks that kill you. So that was just half a batch. And then you've got your sugar and your nutmeg. But it's really very easy to make. So hi, everybody who has just joined us. Just me tonight, but we're going to have fun anyway. Anyway, so I did this. And then to add, I added a scoop of, you guys, you used to be able to get, this is at Costco. I think you still can, this Frappuccino mocha mix. And I didn't put as much in that as I normally would because I'd like to sleep tonight. But that is our little Christmas in July recipe. So guys, if you're hankering to make my eggnog frappuccino, it's just not that hard to make the eggnog. And what? Cindy says you have eggnog at work already. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, maybe for Christmas in July? Well, that's different. Hi, I see Deb is here. I'm from Pasadena, Texas. Oh, I didn't know there was a Pasadena, Texas. That's so fun. Anyway, we're just going to get down to it and have some fun, just essence. And hopefully, I know I have another really fun guest coming up later this month. And hopefully, I have one little spot to fill in and we'll be able to do that and have more guests. But I have all kinds of things planned as we keep moving through the year. So everybody keep hanging out with me. And I'll say a quick hello. I think some of our Insta people have joined us. Thank you, Instagram people. By the way, guys, I do want to mention to kind of check your messages after we do these, or get on Facebook and check, or someplace, because sometimes last time we had winners and I had a hard time. One of them I just never did hear from. So, you know, winner, winner, chicken dinner. If you want to win something, you do have to once in a while check announcements or check your messages to see if you won. And Karina's made it. Hi, Francis. I see Francis has made it. Thanks for coming tonight as we kind of do our next Christmas in July. I'm going to take one more slurp of my fabulous eggnog mocha, and then we'll get right down to it. Got a chunk of ice. I left my biggie straw. We're at the beach at the moment. I left my really big straws at home. That is so good, if I do say so myself. Just putting that in the chopped ice and stick it in your blender for a minute. And oh my gosh, that is so good. So there's your easy Christmas in July Frappuccino. If you missed that early, because I know some of you are coming in a little late, we're going to run back to the beginning of all this and you'll find out how I made that. Really easy to make, and it is yummy. And hi to everybody who's joining us. We are going to be talking, I know some people say, well, Christmas in July, Hallmark started that. And I got to tell you that actually Hallmark did not start Christmas in July, believe it or not. Christmas in July originally, the very first time it appeared, it was not at all commercial, which I think is so cool, because we're always talking about how commercialized everything gets, and Christmas in July, it's just to sell movies, it's just to sell books. Well, sure, of course, who doesn't want to buy a holiday book to read at Christmas in July? But it needs to be about more than that. So I'm going to tell you what that came from. Hi to everybody who's just joined us. I see Nicole is here and Pam and Connie. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining. So here's the skinny on Christmas in July. I made notes. I got this from the internet, which of course is a source of all knowledge, right? So anyway, this is interesting though. So let me just read this. The tradition of Christmas in July was invented by a woman named Franny Holt, a co-founder of the all-girls Keystone Camp in Brevard, North Carolina. This was in 1933. She organized the first documented summer celebration of the holiday to break the midsummer doldrums, complete with carolers, a tree, fake cotton snow, and a visit from Santa. How cute is that? Well, the idea quickly spread and was cemented into pop culture by the 1940 romantic comedy film Christmas in July, which I had never heard of. I'm going to have to go on the hunt for that. Anyway, then after that, so now the 1940s, actually, that people use that for good causes. So missionary drives, they started taking advantage of that. It was adopted by churches in Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. to collect mid-year gift drives and care packages for overseas soldiers during World War II. So how cool is that? So Christmas in July, originally, it was all about kindness and fun and doing good things for people. Now come along the 1950s, retail promotions. Capitalism keeps us all employed, guys. Just remember that. American advertisers decided that this would be a good thing to do. So it began being used to push as far as a marketing tool to get rid of holiday inventory. And then, of course, along came Hallmark. And Hallmark officially launched its Christmas in July programming in 2012. And that just began as a marathon of returning holiday favorites to tide fans over until the true holiday movie season began. But so I think that's kind of neat how that sort of evolved. And wouldn't it be fun if we can take it a little back in time where it's just more about making this kind of a fun month where we're doing nice things for people, where maybe we are contributing to our favorite charitable organization, or doing just something nice, taking cookies to somebody. I don't know how many of you ever read my book, The 12 Months of Christmas, but that was kind of the idea behind that. These women, they had kind of a sucky Christmas, and each month they did something, they did something to keep the Christmas spirit alive. And everything had kind of a holiday theme. It was appropriate to the month, but they always did something to keep things happy and fun and going. I think that's kind of a good idea. I think we could all stand to do that. Just the old, make the world a better place kind of thing. But it all starts in our own little corner of the world. So a better world starts with you and me. And so I think there's a lot of fun we can have with the whole Christmas in July thing, is expanding it beyond just what are we reading and what are we watching. But we are going to do some trivia right now. I've got some movie, because the original guest was going to be our little movie expert. So now the only movie expert you have is me. So I'm going to throw some things out there and let's see if you can figure out the answers to this. Some of these are going to be maybe hard and I might stump you, but luckily I have all the answers written right here. So here's our first question. What was the first Hallmark Christmas movie prototype? What was the one that kind of started it all? And this was quite a while back. So some of you might not be old enough to remember. I'm old enough to remember, but I didn't remember this movie. Anyway, if you want to guess that, just go ahead and type that out. I frankly, I'll be surprised if anybody gets it. But this was the first kind of foray that Hallmark had into doing a Christmas movie. They did have, this was a Hallmark, remember, what was it? A Hallmark Hall of Fame. Remember when they would have presentations, but they would kind of be sparing. And I do remember that as a child. Remember they had, I think it was called Amal and the Night Visitor. I don't know if any of you remember that. But the first one, the prototype here was, according to the internet, was I'm trying to find my writing. Here it was. A Season for Miracles. That was in 1999. A Season for Miracles. Pam, thank you for the kind comments for the book. I appreciate that. So that was the first one that kind of sort of got things rolling. And then, of course, now it's really rolling now. Okay, so here's another question. What are the three, it'd be nice if I could read my writing. I had to do some rearranging here after losing our guest. What are the three top most widely consumed Christmas novels? The three top most widely consumed Christmas novels. Now that's hard because there are a lot of Christmas novels that come out every year. Let's see, Cindy says, I loved that movie. Patty Duke played the angel? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go on the search for that movie. That's interesting. All right, so let's see what you guys know about which were the three most widely consumed Christmas novels. There have been a lot of Christmas novels, but I can give you three. Francis, all of yours. Yeah, I wish. Sadly, I'm not in the top list with Christmas novels, but maybe someday I will write something that is truly lasting. You never know. I'm still here. Connie says Scrooge is the only one I can think of. You know what? You're right. A Christmas Carol. That is still a Dickens Christmas Carol. That is still one of those widely consumed Christmas novels. There are two more, however. And one of them, I must say, I think I'm in a minority. I didn't like that book that well. And I love that author. I love all his other books. But that one just didn't do it for me. The Night Before Christmas, Cindy says, no, that did not make the list of the top three. Of course, there really are so many good Christmas novels. A Miracle on 34th Street, those are movies, but we're talking about novels right now, but you're on the right track. Yes, yeah, Night Before Christmas. Gosh, isn't that weird? Well, maybe that doesn't count because that was more a poem than a novel. So that would probably, if I worded the question differently, I'm sure that would show up as one of the things that we all read every year at Christmas. So want me to give you, I'll give you guys the other two. How about that? Okay, as the other two of the three most widely consumed Christmas novels was John Grisham's Skipping Christmas. How many of you read that book and liked? I don't know what I was expecting. I think I'm such a John Grisham junkie, and I love all his legal thrillers. And I don't know, maybe I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting a holiday legal thriller. Who knew what I was expecting? But I remember going, oh, this is not what I expected, which, is a good thing to remember. We do love to put everybody in a box. Actors, authors, singers, you should just do this. This is what I love. You should do this. Don't do anything else. And, sometimes actors want to try something different. Writers want to try something different. And so I think it's probably, a good thing to let them do that. Speaking of actors going a little outside the box, I don't know how many of you were Steve Martin fans of all his old comic movies, but he did, I think it might have been an independent movie. It was called The Spanish Prisoner. And he wasn't funny in it. It was very different. And I don't think that movie did very well. And I think part of it was because people are like, wait, Steve, you're supposed to be funny. Why aren't you being funny? This is not what we want. You go back in your box and you be funny. And I do think sometimes we tend to do that, but that's how that goes. Oh, golly. Okay, so there's two of them. The third most widely consumed Christmas novel is The Christmas Shoes by Donna Van Leer. Has anybody read The Christmas Shoes? I have never read that book. I am going to have to go in search of that now. The Christmas book. Oh, Francis mentioning for movies, yes. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That is what we watch every year. We have the done on TV version, so some of the naughty words have been cut out. But I love that movie so much. It's just such a fun, that's a holiday tradition. That and the National Lampoon, the Christmas movie, where the squirrel's chasing him up the stairs or down the stairs and all the crazy stuff happens. Oh my gosh, love that. But anyway, so those are the three most consumed holiday movies. So if you're wondering what those might be about, you just might want to check those out, buy a copy, go to your library, see if they've got a copy, and just see what it's all about. Okay. Oh, it was into a movie too, according to Diane. The Christmas, where to go? The Christmas Shoes was a great movie. Okay. Well, there you go. So, hey, worth checking out. Okay. So there's that. And let's see here. Here's a funny one. This is a little self-serving. If you guys don't get this, I'm gonna cry. What Hallmark movie features a fireman and a matchmaking cat? And I certainly better see some answers on that, y'all. That's actually going to be, thank you all of those who come and you comment or hear live, because we always draw a name to win something from all of our people who are here hanging out live. And as a matter of fact, a DVD of that movie will be going out to some happy US resident as just a thank you for joining us here tonight. Anne Maria's made it in from Massachusetts. Glad you could come. As I said earlier, sorry it's just me tonight. Sometimes things happen and we lose guests, but it's just us and we're still having fun, right? Yay, and everybody who said the 9 Lives of Christmas, thank you for doing that. Yes, the 9 Lives of Christmas. And I had to laugh. I was looking for movies that are considered top movies of Hallmark, and I think it was it Good Housekeeping? They had made a list of top movies, and sadly that did not make their list of top 25. But according to IMDb, it was in the top 5 of Hallmark movies. So I felt much better. So there you go. I still think, even though I love that movie, I still think the book was better. But maybe that's just me, the author, speaking. Sometimes there are things you can put in a book and more you can put in a book than can get put in a movie. But that's just how that goes. Anyway, oh, the 12 Days of Christmas. Yes, I'd love to see that mentioned. That really is a favorite book of mine. I have, when it comes to I've written, some of them are out of print, you can't even find them anymore. But over the years, I have written 25 holiday tales, and my book coming out this fall will be number 26. And so I think that's pretty fun. So that's a lot of holiday babies to choose from. But if I'm looking for favorites, I have some. One of the top ones is A Little Christmas Spirit, because that was my homage to Dickens, and I just really loved that. And at one point we'd had some movie interest, but that sadly did not come through, and I was disappointed, because I think it would be a fun movie. But anyway, there you have it. So that's one of my top favorites of my holiday books, that and the 12 Months of Christmas, because I love the message behind it, the whole thing about keeping the Christmas spirit going all year long. But I have lots of other favorite Christmas novels, of course, and I know I've told you guys before, A Christmas Carol is like my all-time favorite. So, and I love that movie. The one with George C. Scott, when was that? The 80s or something, but that is just the best version ever, if you can ever find that to watch. That's just really fabulous. Let's see, Tammy says, I recently read Flora's Traveling Christmas Shop. That sounds interesting. Next up, On Strike for Christmas. All right. Yeah, that's a little dated now because technology has changed. That was when did that come out? 2000. We have cell phones now, and there are no more DVD rental stores. So it's a little dated, but the basic premise is still fun and still funny. Oh gosh. So anyway, yeah, and I see, yep. So my instant people, you got that right too. Thanks, guys. Thanks for knowing the answer to that. Too fun. All right, so let's move on and ask you just a few more little questions. Here's an interesting one. I know a lot of you read my friend Debbie Maycomber. She has had six of her holiday novels made into movies. Can anybody name one? Can you name any Debbie Maycomber book that was a Hallmark movie that you enjoyed? I'll be interested to hear if any of you know any of those. She has had a lot of fun things like that happen. And of course, she had her Cedar Cove series. And, I think Debbie is such a good example of somebody who has worked hard for so long and been able to make a success of herself. And sometimes, it's so easy to look at people and go, well, easy for her to do, or look where she is, and not realizing how long those people worked to achieve those accomplishments. So I think Debbie is such a good example. Okay, Cindy said Mrs. Miracle. Yep, I see Mrs. Miracle several times here. Yep, you guys, that's kind of the big one. So Mrs. Miracle, and there were more. Did you know there was a Mr. Miracle? Now that's interesting. So she had that. Oh yeah, Donna Roberts. She was such a good actress. And let's see who else. There was Call Me Mrs. Miracle. Boy, we were sure trading in on that, weren't we? And then Mr. Miracle, Trading Christmas. And that was based on a 2011 novel of hers, When Christmas Comes. She also had Dashing Through the Snow and a Mrs. Miracle Christmas. So she just had a really good time with Christmas with her movies. And how fun is that? That's just really special. I don't know about you all, but Christmas still is just my all-time favorite holiday. So I love being able to do Christmas in July and really celebrate and read those Christmas stories and just make life fun for everybody around me. Or maybe, I don't know, in the case of my family, drive them nuts, but that's another story. We won't go down there. All right, so let's move away from Hallmark and have a couple other trivia questions. Here's an interesting one, but still a Christmas movie question. What was the first commercially successful Christmas movie? First commercially successful Christmas movie. While you're doing that, I'm taking some more of my eggnog frap that I made. If you came in late, you'll have to move back to the beginning of our chat because I told you how I made it there. Homemade eggnog. I'm so proud of myself. That is so good. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm just so proud of me. What a fun recipe I came up with. There's probably one out there somewhere on the internet, so I probably wasn't that original, but it was fun. Okay, Nancy is guessing It's a Wonderful Life. No. And you guys, someday I should just do a whole session on It's a Wonderful Life, because that is my all-time favorite movie, and all the stories that go with that movie and around that movie are just fascinating. I've got the books about it. I love that movie. But that one was not a commercial success at first. I think people were worried it was too dark, and it wasn't until later when they started showing it on TV that became just a cult following, just a favorite of people who like Christmas movies. Okay, Francis guessed Miracle on 34th Street. You're right. Anybody who said Miracle on 34th Street, you're right. That was the first big successful Christmas movie. And I should have looked up when that came out, but I know that was a long time ago too. So it's interesting how some of these older movies have taken on such a hold on our hearts and have become so much a part of our culture. Diane said Polar Express. I loved Polar Express. I remember taking my granddaughter to that and thinking what a cool movie that was. So that is a good one. But the first really huge successful one was that classic Miracle on 34th Street. So very interesting. So here's another question. This is kind of interesting. Now, these are going to sound similar, but these questions are different. So question number one, who is the most iconic character when it comes to Christmas? Fictional character. Who is the most iconic fictional Christmas character? By the way, Nancy, I hear you watching Polar Express every year. How fun is that? We have an answer here. Somebody said the Grinch. You're right. The Grinch. The Grinch is the most iconic of all those Christmas carols. Yeah, it's interesting, Nancy. He is more what everybody thinks of at Christmas than Scrooge, which is interesting to me. So anyway, yeah, if you're thinking the Grinch, you were on the right track. Yeah, Santa Claus. Wouldn't you think? Yeah, Santa. Well, I don't know. Some people still think Santa is real, so maybe that's how come he didn't get listed. But we're talking, the Grinch was the answer that I found. So there you go. Now this is not iconic. Now I want to know who you think is the most popular Christmas character. Again, we're fictional characters, but who do you think is listed as the most popular Christmas character? See what you think about that. I thought, well, now that's interesting. Okay, and I'll give you a clue. It was a movie character, if that helps. See if that helps you. Santa Claus, you would think. Nope, it's not Santa. But he is beloved, according to my research on the internet. I see Scrooge coming up. Scrooge was definitely not beloved. Rudolph, no, that's a good guess, though. You would think in a way that it would be Rudolph, wouldn't you? But no. Elf. Yes, Buddy the Elf. You're right, Debbie. It was the elf. How many of you watched that movie? I remember watching that, years ago, and I thought, was this kind of cute? I wasn't totally into it, but I might have to watch it again because so many people love that movie. But Elf, Buddy the Elf, he is the most loved of all those fictional Christmas characters. So how interesting is that? Well, now I want to pull back again. I'll circle all the way back to the whole, how can we celebrate Christmas in July? Of course, we are reading our books. Who is reading a holiday book right now? Who is reading a Christmas book right now? And just do a quick shout out, say me. I'd be interested to hear. And I would also like to know who has been watching Christmas movies. Who is watching Christmas movies? Who's reading a Christmas book? I'm looking for some me. There's a me from Francis. Okay, and Pam, oh yeah, she's not an elf fan. Yeah, I need to watch it again. It felt a little too silly to me, but I think I need to try it one more time and see if I like it better the second time around. Corinne says, I have watched Christmas movies. Oh, where'd you go? Your comment scrolled away. I have watched Christmas movies. I lost you, Corinne. She's watched Christmas movies. This is why I always need Gerhardt with me or somebody to help me keep track of everything. I'm sure you're saying that you've done that for a while. Corinne, I'm sorry. Your comment just went away. That's so sad. This happens to me sometimes. It just, you all talk and then I get all excited and miss the scroll. So sorry that I missed that. Also, I'm dealing with a different contact lens for my close-up lens. I'm calling, what does this say? Let's see. Nancy says, not reading any holiday books. Trouble keeping up. Oh boy, isn't that the truth? I gotta say, when I wrote On Strike for Christmas, back bazillions, I'm trying to remember that came out. I think that came out in 2000. Anyway, there was really basically not much of anything out there. There was the Christmas box, the guy who wrote that, maybe the Christmas shoes, Debbie Maycomber, who'd had a Christmas novel, and John Grisham had Skipping Christmas. And that was kind of it. There was just not much out there in the way of Christmas books. And they began to catch on more and more. And pretty soon, every author was like, well, I'd like to write a Christmas novel. And every publisher is like, we need Christmas novels. And now it's like, oh my gosh, there are so many. It is hard to keep up with all of them. And I think you almost have to pick who's my favorite author. And I'm just going to try and keep up with that one because every author every year, is writing one. I'm thinking of friends who have them coming out this Christmas. I know Rhiannon Thane's got one coming out. I'm hoping we're going to be able to get her on either for Christmas in July or in the fall because we have books coming out, bing, bing, right near each other. And Viola Shipman has one coming out. And I'm trying to think who else. Oh, hello. My friend Debbie Maycomber has one coming out. This will only work for my Kitsap County girlies, but she and I are going to be doing an event at the Jewel Box Theater in Paulsville, Washington in November to celebrate our Christmas books and also mainly to celebrate Debbie and her long career as a writer. And so that's going to be really fun. So Debbie's got one coming out. So, and I know that I'm sure Susan Mallory will have one. I'm pretty sure Mary Kay Andrews has got one coming out. So there are going to be lots of Christmas books coming out for you guys to get into. So you're not going to be lacking for things to read. Also, I'm thinking about, I should mention one more event. Let's see, I made a note of that. Where did I write it? This coming Saturday, the 17th. I will be taking part in, it's a new event that's just being tried out. Again, this is, only for my Kitsap people. I really do need to get more around the country. But so guys, tell your favorite bookstore to invite me over to come hang out with all of you. Anyway, this is going to be in Port Orchard, Washington, this coming Saturday. And my friend Susan Wiggs will also be speaking at this. She is on, I think, at noon. I'm on at 1. And we're going to be talking about the joys of writing and maybe, who knows, sharing some fabulous secrets. I don't know what we're going to be sharing. But anyway, that's going to be fun. Other authors will be there speaking, and they'll have tables with authors selling their books. I believe there's going to be an opportunity to do some book swapping. So for romance readers in the Kitsap area, that's this coming Saturday, the 17th, the 17th, right? Anyway, and that's going to be, it's called Reader Eye. And for those of you who heard me talking with Terry Heath a little while back, he was the one behind it who came up with the idea. And the Reader Eye, I remember asking him, what the heck? What does that mean? He took it from the, which is the Bronte novels where it ended, and Reader, I married him. Which one was that? Was that Jane Eyre? I don't remember. I'll have to look it up. But anyway, so that's going to be happening. So that'll be kind of fun. But all right, I am digressing because this is what happens when I'm left all alone and nobody's watching over me. So I'm going to circle back again to, I'm wondering if we could think this week of things to do, just something fun and kind for somebody that might make their day, whether that's taking cookies to the neighbor, maybe bake some Christmas cookies early and say Happy Christmas in July. contributing to your favorite worthy cause, or just writing a note to somebody you haven't talked to in a long time, calling an older relative who maybe would love to have some company, and going over and hanging out. There's so many things we can do to do our part to bring a little bit of Christmas spirit into the July, into the middle of the heat. And I don't know, maybe you make somebody a nice eggnog frap to cool them off in the heat. Here in the Northwest, here on the coast on the beach, it never gets that hot. So I don't need to cool off too much. But anyway, let's see what we can all be doing. I'll do a quick brief shout out too to my friend Wendy, who had texted me and she said, I got something for you. And we came home yesterday from being out and about, and there she was. She and her husband had just left a little goodie on the porch, a great big bag of these coconut candy with dark chocolate drizzle that I had been eyeing in Costco. And there was Wendy, and she said, here, I just brought you something. So how fun is that? It was a small, sweet thing to do, but it really made my day. So, yeah, somebody said, locate to your local humane, donate to your local humane society. There are all kinds of things we can be doing. So let's try and keep that Christmas spirit alive. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I will try and post some things either on Facebook or Insta, and we'll just see how we're doing with keeping the Christmas spirit going. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week here, and we'll be in touch. And hopefully, I'm hoping that things will work out for us to have a guest for next week. But stay tuned. It's always fun to hang out. Happy Christmas in July, and we will be talking soon, saying bye first to our Insta people. Thanks you guys so much for coming. It is very, very much appreciated. And we're going to say adios, ho, ho, ho to them, and then another adios real quickly to all of you on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us. And I completely lost my feed. So, anyway, there we are. I lost her for a minute. Anyway, you guys have a great week, and we'll be in touch soon. Ho, ho, ho.